Hey people, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. If you're listening on the station, that's absolutely wonderful. If you're listening on a podcast, on Mixcloud, on iTunes, on TuneIn Radio, why thank you. And you're tuned in to The Duggystone Show. Oh yeah. So today I'm catching up again with my good friend Crossely. He was known by the Mindset Technician. I get my words out of it. And I wanted to talk to him because we've not spoken to him for a while. But not only that, he's been on a bit of a trip to Africa, and it really intrigued me. So I wanted to get to the bottom of what he was doing over there, what he's currently doing, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Cleaning bikes and vehicles. Everyone loves the results, not everyone loves the effort. Clean My Ride Combined Bike Wash and Degreaser gives you the best of both worlds. Amazing cleaning and degreasing with very little effort. Its non-streak, non-caustic formula eats dirt, dissolves grease and is safe on all surfaces. Clean My Ride Combined Bike Wash Degreaser. Simply spray, wait and wash. Available online at clean-myride.com or find us on Facebook at Clean My Ride UK. Sponsors of Duggystone Radio and Bikers Night.
The Duggystone Show. So, people, we've got, as I said at the start, we've got an amazing guy who I've come to call a friend, him and Auntie Vale. It's Uncle Croz, and it's Crossley's come to join us again today. And anyway, we're going to have a bit of a chat about what he's been up to just recently, because I think it's quite interesting. How you doing, Croz?
I'm great, Kirk, as always.
It's the only way to be, isn't it? It's the only way to be.
Yeah.
So for people who might not, there can't be many people that's not heard you, but this show goes out all over the place. To introduce yourself, tell everybody what you're about, really.
Well, Crossley, Mindset Technician, or my new name now, the Mindset Master, which I've just going to start adopting. I've learned about 25 years ago how powerful our mind is, and how powerful it is in creating what we want out of life, what we want to do in life, and where we want to get to in life. So I've sort of been teaching now for 25 years, getting some amazing results, and I've simplified it to such an extent now that I'm even getting some people attacking me now for making it too simple. That it's not they can't charge as much for it.
I know, and that's the thing. Everyone makes everything really complicated, don't they? The simplest things and make it as complicated as they can, so that you've got to go to them. And for people that might not listen to, because we've been on before, but I was on one of your courses. I think it's a couple of years ago now.
2 years.
Yeah, and it totally changed my view of what I was doing. And I actually use it, as you know, Cross, I do a bit of public speaking in school to promote dyslexia. And I actually use as part of your, not all of it, because I can't do it as good as you, but I do talk about you, and I talk about having a clear image of the future and where they want to be. And it seems to go down quite well in the talks I do. So thanks very much for that. And thanks actually for clearing me head from the turmoil that I was in before I came to see you, because from that, and if people have seen some of my videos that I did in Inspired Edinburgh and things like that, came a result of a few weeks after being on your course. So I thank you, because you totally transformed what I do.
And thanks very much for that. And but that's the lovely thing is, but what you've realised by now, Kirk, it's not a learn it and forget it. You've got to live this every day until it becomes natural, and then once it becomes natural, then everything changes. I mean, I can now listen to. I got some very bad news in South Africa, not this year, last year. Bad news. I mean, it was the news I wasn't expecting. It wasn't bad. It was the fact that I was expecting a big lot of money to come in the bank, and someone rang me and said that the banks had revalued the deal, and there would be no money until the end of the deal. In the past, I would have been hovering inches above the ground with steam coming out of the ears. But as I was talking, the guy that was talking, I respected and trusted, and I just asked the 2 questions. Have I done everything I can? Is there anything else I can do? So by the time I'd put the phone down, I was totally relaxed.
Yeah.
And it's a thing I call don't let the moment spoil the momentum. And by that I mean that you can have had the best possible day out, right? And really, really enjoyed yourself with your family. You're really happy, and you get a phone call like that, okay, that you can't do anything about. Yet then it clouds. It stops the momentum. So you've let the moment spoil the momentum.
I like that.
So it's a case of just immediately saying, is there anything I can do, doing all the usual questions, and then just carrying on. So why could you you've had a lovely day for 8 hours with your family, and then you've spoiled it all by something that's happened somewhere else or whatever that you've got no control about?
Yeah, and I try and give those teachings through osmosis, as you call it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think I don't care, and I go, oh, hang on a minute, that's happened. But what can we do? What can we do now? That's happened.
But
it's life, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a bit like being at a funeral. And everyone expects you've got have your head down and this, that, and the other, but that's not reflective of your real feelings. Now, even if you're laughing and joking, you're not suppressing or changing your real deep feelings. We're living in the now. So, this thing where we go through life where we tend to do what's expected of us rather than what we feel like doing.
Yeah.
And it's a very strange thing. You really do need to just, for want of a better phrase, be you. And then everything starts sorting itself out.
Yeah. And I'm testament to that. And I fully support what you say and what you teach. And if anyone's not sure, just go and get Chet Croz out, and I'm sure he'll have a chat with you. No pressure and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's not a sales pitch, but go and check him out. If you're running around like an endless chicken in a minute, looking at everyone else going, why am I not getting anywhere? I'm just all these problems. Go and have a word with Uncle Croz, because I'm telling you what now. Yeah, he makes sense, and I try and don't try. I adopt that to everything. So, yeah, things go wrong. Have I done everything I can? Yes. Is there anything more I can do? Oh, maybe I could do that. Right, let's try that. And then you ask the question again and go, I've done everything I can. There's nothing else I can do. So it is what it is. And move on, And I think that's what a lot of the time you talked about funerals with grief as well. And people, I think the biggest issue with grief, I mean, we've lost quite a few friends over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
To obviously cancer, and died too young, and there's nothing we can do about it, and I think you feel a bit helpless. And yes, there's a time and a place, and you need to grieve, and otherwise, you've got a swinging brick. But you can't let it consume you. You've got to try and take the positives out of it. What did that person bring to your life? How's it enriched? So what can you do now to still remember that person? So yeah, I don't want to get into too depressing, but that's the extreme of it, isn't it? What can I do? You can't change it. You can't bring that person back.
Precisely.
And I think that's what gets people. And I see it within my own circle. I see it with my own family, where people get really stressed about stuff, and I go, but you can't change it. You can't change that, can you? And you're getting frustrated because you want to change it, but you're getting yourself into a bit of a tizzy. Even when things went on with me a long, long time ago, and it was a really bad time for me, there's nothing I can do to change it. There's no point getting stressed about what happened then, because it's in the past. Just let it go. You know what I mean? Just move on from it. Yeah.
But as I teach, and in its basic form, know where you're going, be happy where you are, and forget all the rubbish in the past. And listen, just do those 3 things. There's loads of ways of applying it, and that's it. That is the secret of actually knowing, of making a success of your life.
Correct.
And you said earlier about your thing is your destination. It's like being in a pub with a set of darts and just throwing them randomly down the pub. You've got to aim at the dartboard. If you know what you're aiming at, the odds of hitting the target are dramatically increased.
Correct. And I think people lose that, don't they? And they start running they start, like you said, keep it simple and not make it they start getting complicated with things, and it's not difficult. It's just things are going to happen. It's how you react to things as well, isn't it? Things happen in your life, and it's not. We're responsible, aren't we? We're able. It's our response to a situation that is more important than the situation itself. So, how do we respond to good times, bad times, and I think it's a great way to look at it. And it's pushed us into developing the radio station and other things that I've done, and moving me forward. My clear mental image is still there. What I want to do, and it's. Yeah, it's brilliant. But what I wanted to get you on for as well, Croz, as you know, you've just recently been on a trip to Africa, and I was really intrigued by that, and I wanted to share it with the listeners around the place. And tell us a bit about what you're doing over there, because I saw a few images, and I think it's quite an interesting thing.
Well, we've actually supported an orphanage. Val and I have been actively involved for about 5 years. Where we collect money over here, and then my friend who owns a pub in Cook and Bourne End, he's got property over there, so he takes the money over to the orphanage, and it was called Mama Amelia's, and Mama Amelia was a wonderful person. She was a big fat mama, and she was just an archetypal African fat lady. She was amazing, and she, over a period of time, and she'd been doing this for I think 40 or 50 years, she'd created a network of people that she knew that she could call, a bit like Mother Teresa, really. Everyone said Mother Teresa was poor, but she could pick up the phone to the richest people in the world. So how poor was she? She, but that was Mama Amelia. She was she had this network of people, and she died last year, and with her died her connections. So what's happened now is that the orphanage position where they didn't have any of Mama Amelia's connections. They had a few, and people on the odd occasion, people coming on saying, "Where's Mama Amelia?" or "Money's going in." But when I was there, the actual orphanage, there was no power on. Because they didn't, they're actually paying their power day to day as money comes in, and it was just a terrible situation. And we just decided to put a little an appeal up, a little collection, which you've reminded me, because I haven't sort of rejigged it again lately. But perhaps we might put a link underneath this.
Definitely.
This podcast, because the thing is, you see that. Even £5 to them, when you convert it into rand, is a sort of 100 rand, which to them is a fortune. Yeah. So it was just okay. And I like to do the right thing by people on the way through. But listen, there was real distress and need. And I just felt it was prudent to sort of put a bit of an appeal on. I think we got about £600 in short time, which was great. And I think I'm going to rejig it again and get it going. But it's like everything, they appreciate the money, but it's, how good do you feel when when you can actually do something where there's no big body of people going to take commissions out or money out before it gets there. Every penny that's sent is going direct to the people to help. So, if anyone's ever felt like donating anything, they can do it and know that every penny's going there, and it's really going to be appreciated.
I love that, Cross. So the question I've got with that, and obviously you can send them on, you've got £600, you might raise $6,000 or whatever it is, which is, every penny is brilliant. Yeah. But you mentioned that the driving force behind that place was what's the name again? Sorry,
Mama Amelia.
Yeah, what's say Mother Teresa? So she's obviously passed away. So sending the money is great, but is there someone who's stood up to take on that?
There's a girl. I've got a video that I'll put there for you, which I had a girl who actually was an orphan that Mama Amelia has taken through. Brilliant. She's about 40 years old now, so she's known nothing else other than living at Mama Amelia's, and now she's taking it on. But she's not a business lady, and she's not she's just taking it on because, as you see in the video, Mama Amelia said on her deathbed, don't let it die. You must keep things going.
Yeah.
And when you see this, this is a township. This is tin houses,
yeah.
and containers. In fact, they aspire to be able to buy a container to live in.
I'm laughing. I'm not laughing.
Yeah.
I'm laughing, but I'm laughing because it's ludicrous, isn't it? It's ludicrous. Go carry on. Yeah.
But the point is, you see, the thing is, and the unfortunate thing is over there, Kirk, is that you see, you don't know what you've got until someone tells you what you haven't got. And now you've got the situation in Africa where you've got these townships of tin huts with bloody discs on the roof of, TV discs.
Yeah.
So, it's so incongruous. It's not funny, and it's like all of a sudden they're seeing what they're missing. So that it's a bit crazy. I mean, it's very, very, very difficult to get change because it's evolution, and evolution takes time.
Yes.
Right. And what everyone's trying to do at the moment, a lot of the black people over there at the moment are trying to get the white man's life, right? Yeah. But they don't understand why. I mean, a very quick story now. In the early 80s, I went over there, and apartheid was still very, very, prevalent. I mean, it was the law of the land, and to try and appease the situation, the government built a place called Mitchell Plain, which was a huge housing estate with brick-built houses, corrugated roofs, and all the bits and pieces. And I was there, and it's big news about the opening of it because this was going to be the big thing to show the outside world that we do care, but it's going to take time for evolution to happen.
Yeah.
We were there 6 months, and by the time we'd gone, the place was demolished. They'd took the roofs off and put them against the wall because they could get more people in the little bits at the side. They'd smashed the toilets out because they'd never seen a toilet or whatever. So they smashed them out and put a goat in there. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So you can't. But what's happening is, who's right? It might be right to not bother about using the toilet. It might be right to go and have a piddle up a tree or whatever. We don't know who's right and who's wrong, but it's just different cultures have different things, and to overnight say to someone, you live in a tin hut and dad goes out and hunts for a bloody bull or something and throws it on the floor of the mud hut, and you live for a week and he goes and sits under a tree or whatever, that's their culture. So to come and start saying, what you need is a car loan and a mortgage and a this, that and the other, it's just so alien. It's like taking us and putting us in the tin hut, saying, "Oh, that's it. That's right."
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So these things they evolve, and they sort of try and rush things too quickly. And as I say, with these satellite dishes on the roofs of these tin things, the people are sitting inside now. They just say, "Well, what's all this about?" Mm-hmm. It doesn't make any sense, and I think we're trying to rush things a little bit too much now instead of letting things unfold.
I like it, and I don't want to get too political with that stuff that's going on, but there's obviously a big change going on in the UK, and everyone's getting all heated up about things, and people are saying, there's a lot of division at the minute, and I've had a few conversations with people, and I said, that's great, get all upset about that, what's going on. I says, but do you realise when you were actually talking about this now, there's a child somewhere in the world dying because they've not got clean water. Yeah. Not they've not got the latest trick. They've not got clean water, and they're dying because of poor sanitation or clean water. Yeah. And you're getting all heads up about this that's going on. Let's have it. Let's come into the real world here. Let's have the real issues. Yeah, not.
Precisely. Well, funny enough, a statistic is more lives have been saved by sanitation than anything else. You know, I mean, you know, just by the virtue of the fact of people understanding about washing your hands and what have you, it's sort of amazing amount of lives. Something as
basic,
simple as that. You know, it's crazy. But we do get carried away, don't we? In life, we've actually programmed to, you know, if we can make it difficult or hard or question it and, you know, just hold it up a little bit or whatever, instead of just letting you listen. The natural thing is in the flow, being in the flow. And if you're in the flow, things tend to sort themselves out. You know, a little leaf floating down the river and it sees a log, it don't sort of say to itself, I think I'll go and wedge myself behind the log, does he? Hey? No. He says the stream's not nice, flowing naturally around the log and the leaf just goes around it. That's your natural thing. And, you know, taking the analogy of the river, you get a situation where you get a change in life, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's what I call that transitional disruption, as you'll remember if you were paying attention, Kurt.
Yes.
So you're going along the river, there's a waterfall. Wow, the turmoil. But then a little bit away from the waterfall, what have you got? Calm again. You see? So that's life. It's just, that's called being in the flow. But the leaf doesn't sort of see the turmoil that's there. It's all part of the journey. So it just allows itself to naturally go on the waterfall through the turbulence the other side. And every single person listening to this has got a 100% track record of solving every problem they've ever had. They've come out the other side. But you know what the trouble is, Kurt? Everybody says, yeah, but the one, thanks for the invitation and the, you know, the help, but the one I've got is actually the biggest, the deepest, the longest, the highest ever. And nothing you can say or do will sort it out. But we all know different, don't we?
We do.
And yet we wallow in that turmoil instead of understanding that it's part of the journey. So if you're ever in turmoil, provided you know where you're going, which is a clear mental image, you're in that turmoil and you know. And however jumbled it gets, you could keep heading towards that as if you've got a compass, it will get you through. But the trouble is most people don't know where they're going, and that extends the period of turmoil.
Yeah,
because they don't know where they're going, and they're holding back. Like if the leaf held back from the waterfall, it's going to be frightened until it lets itself go through the turmoil and on down the river. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's absolutely spot on. And I don't use all your terminology because that's not fair of me, but I often say to people when I'm doing my talk, to make it easy to them, about where they're going, because a lot of people I talk to are like, they're normally like later in school years or sixth form. And I say to them, it's a bit like going out here today, guys and girls, you want to go up to Edinburgh, you know, there's loads of different routes, but you know you're going to Edinburgh. If we go out this room now and you don't know where you're going, you'll never be lost, but you'll never get anywhere because you don't know where you're going. If at least you know where you're going, and say you get to Edinburgh and there's a roadblock on the M1 or whichever way you go up, well, you'll take a little detour, but you'll know, hang on a minute, I need to get back on that road again, and it's up here. So the trouble is people, and you talk about it a lot, is people know they're potentially going to Edinburgh, but they're not halfway up, see some sign for Leeds and some festival going on, and go to that festival again, and then forget where they were going, and they just and that's what a lot of people are doing in life and in business, aren't they? Other things are dragging them off, and because they don't know where they're going, they're just, you know, bobbing through the latest thing or the latest idea or concept or whatever it is.
Well, I'll tell you a little something. Now, I say to people, now you've got to create your CMI, and listen, if it's what you really, really want, it's what you can get. You've got to know what you want. Most people make their CMI out of what they think they can get with the knowledge they've got now, which is normally the knowledge that they had 10 years ago. They haven't upgraded. So how much trouble are they in? So, but if you create your clear mental image, that is the odds are that if you follow all the teachings, you'll get there, or you'll readjust it, and it'll be somewhere that you want to go. But you've got this thing that you're aiming at. And everyone says to me, well, how does it happen? And I look them square in the eyes and say, I haven't got a bloody clue.
Correct.
I haven't got a clue, because it's your journey. But I do know one thing. If you know where you're going, the next step you will know how to do it.
Mm.
Right? Because it will be part of the journey and you'll know how to do it. And then once you've done that bit, there'll be another step that you will know how to do it. So all those small hows take you to where you're going.
Yeah.
But you see, most people, they don't know the next step because simply they don't know where they're going. And it's so important. But everything, you see, every single problem that you're given, and once something's real, it's like this Brexit thing at the moment. If they just left, it'll sort itself out, because the rules of the universe are that when you've got a situation or a problem that is real, you will be given the tools and equipment to deal with it. And that's why you've got 100% track record of getting through turmoil, because once it's a real problem, you can solve it. But most people are trying to solve problems that don't exist.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's how clever we are. We're actually causing ourselves distress, anxiety, right, on something that might happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But as soon as it's real, you know exactly what to do. You know, and it doesn't matter what it is. As soon as the situation is real, the only thing that frightens you is the fear of what might happen. You are never frightened when something happens. It's not fear, a different situation where you're solving the situation. So when something's real, there's no fear involved.
Yeah.
Because you know what to do. Fear is the unknown. And you trying to create things, you know, make things up. And so, you know, and all these things, when you understand how the universe works and how you can actually make, you know, it prevents you from being frightened, because you say, well, yeah, if that does happen, I'll know how to deal with it. Next, on you go.
Yeah, otherwise, you know, you can spend all your life worrying about every little thing, and you never go.
Listen,
you never go out of the house, would you?
If you got in a car and just sat there panicking, right, about crashing into something, guess what'll happen?
Yeah, you'll either crash
into
something,
and once you do, the fear will be gone, and you'll know exactly what to do. Get out and ring your insurance company. Right? But you see, people don't believe it when you make a statement. Look, everything that good in your life that's ever happened, you're responsible. And everything that bad in your life that's ever happened, you're responsible. I mean, for what you've got control of. I mean, you can't be responsible for people dying and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But things that happened in your life, like if your business is running well, congratulations. If your business is running bad, congratulations, because you've created both situations.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And you've got the ability to change it. But people don't, because they've been programmed so badly over their life. Everyone programs you to not do things.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do anything, guess what?
Yeah,
you can't fail.
You can't. Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
So you've got to rejig it all. And most people are working with information that they had 10 years ago. They get into business, and a lot of people that I deal with, they go, oh, what do I do? So, well, hang on, where did this, where you're actually dealing with a mindset from 10 years ago when you had nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go and get something and you start going, oh, I couldn't do that, or I can't buy that, or I can't. Yeah, that's the mindset when you didn't have any money. So you've got to upgrade yourself so that when you got the money, you've got to spend it. I mean, I was talking to a client the other day, and we're discussing how he's going to do his new kitchen. Right? Now, how can you be a business coach talking about, you know, the new kitchen and do it, you know, bum, bum, bum. So, you see, life is one thing, life. And everyone goes, oh yeah, work-life balance. What a load of rubbish. It's one thing. And if you get it right, you'll know when to work and you'll know when to rest.
Yeah.
The trouble is that people going around saying, yeah, keep going. No, because you know, you need to earn enough. Like the caveman didn't go out and keep hunting and pile it up, did he? Because he didn't have no fridges. He went out hunting, came back, gave the food, and then sat down and had a little rest. And then when they were getting low on food, he went out because he knew he would get some more.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He didn't just keep going. And that's, people keep going. They've got more money than they can shake the stick at, and they're still knocking themselves about.
I know.
Stressing and being anxious about it. And that's not the ways of the world are that you will always get what you need when you know what you need.
Yeah, because
but most people like knowing where they're going. They don't know what they need. They think they need a big pile of money.
Yeah, you don't.
Right, and it's all mindset, Kirk.
It's crazy.
Client the other day, she said that, she said I can't do anything because I've got me nest egg, me bit here to support me. I said, why aren't you using it? And I can't spend it because that's me support for when things are going wrong. I said, well, I thought things are going wrong now. Oh yeah, but not as bad as what they've got to be before they actually spend it. Right. Oh, I see. All right, okay. So, but listen, the thing is, your business is suffering because you're not using that money. Yeah. But I can't spend it. I said, well, don't spend it, then invest it. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, don't look at it as spending it. Look at it as investing in a business, and you'll get a premium on it.
Yes.
You'll get interest on it because you've invested. Oh, so I said, see what it is. Life's all about just having the right thoughts. Immediately, she looked at spending that money as investing in her business. Everything changed.
Yeah.
Right?
I did that.
Crazy,
I did that the other week, Croz.
Yeah.
Did that the other week and invested in someone's giving me some help with something, and I could have gone, I can't really afford that because it's a few quid and what have you. But actually, if I do, and I spent it, even though I didn't really. Do you know what I mean? I've spent it, and within 3 weeks, the money that I've spent, I've got back and I've got more.
Yeah.
Because of the result of what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Of course it is, because it's all a mindset. It's like the story of the blank check. The made up story, but it's true. Like the guy's sitting on a park bench with his head in his hands, and this old geezer comes over to him. He said, "What's up, mate?" He said, "Well, everything's gone wrong in my life. My business is suffering, and this, that, and the other." And the old man says to him, he says, "What's the problem?" And he said, "Well, if I had money," so he said, "Well," he said, "Look, I haven't got a lot of money, but I'll write you a cheque for £10,000, and I want you to promise me that you'll only cash it if you need it, and we'll meet back here in a year's time." So the geezer goes away, and they meet in a year's time, and they're sitting on the bench, and the bloke said, "How's business?" Is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He said, "Because I knew all the time that I had that money, and it just changed my mindset, and I knew that And the bloke said, "That's handy, because I ain't got no money in the bank." Right?
Yeah,
but it was only him thinking that he had the support that changed his mindset. So at times you have to keep to yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's Jim Carrey. I think Jim Carrey did something similar. Wrote himself a check for a million. Yeah, and by the time it was due for cashing, he had that in the bank, and it's like wow. That's just. But you're right, Croz. It's your whole thought process rather than. I think you also say if you chase something, it'll run away. So if you're after, like the caveman's after his wild boar. Yeah. If you run after it, it's just gonna run faster. But you've
trap it.
Yeah. Chill out and wait for it, and then spear it. So apologies for anyone that gets offended by that one. But I think it's great, and I think people need to check you out if they're in a bit of a turmoil. Definitely go and have a look what Cross talks about, because it's so simple. People scratch their heads and go, "It's too simple. It's too easy." But you're right. It's about your mindset and there's lots of stuff goes on with the radio station and other things that we were doing, and you've just got to go, okay, then what's the solution? And like you say, is there anything else you can do? Yeah, we'll do that instead now.
But the thing is, you need all the little bits and pieces, because you see, it's our mind will grow anything we plant in it. So if you plant fear, if you plant happiness, it will grow happiness. It's what you plant, but you're in control of that.
Yeah.
You see, but the biggest thing, and you see, this is what I teach over a period of time with clients, but something deep is that everyone says it, so everyone knows. After 25 years, I say something. Oh yeah, I read that. Oh yeah, I know that. Well, hang on, why are you in trouble? It's not knowing the quote. It's actually actioning it, and that's the thing that you've got to learn. Is that in spite of it, and I say to people that the default position is to relax. Right? Now, when you are in trouble, hovering 2 inches off the ground with steam coming out your ears, the last thing you want to hear is some silly old bastard come along and say, relax.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you want to hear. So the odds of you using that information at that point in time is very remote. And that is the point. That's when I get a client, and sometimes I spend 2 or 3 weeks relaxing them before we even talk about their business or anything.
Yeah.
Because the information, it's like, you see, you can go and get everything in a book. You can Google it, do anything you like, but there ain't no bloody use to you until you know what to do with it. And that's the trouble. What we do is we read a book, say, oh, it didn't work. Yeah, give us another one. How to Be Rich and Happy. Yeah, read that. That didn't bloody work. Right? And it's ridiculous. We keep going on and on and on and on reading all these books. And I know that there's a trigger required to make it work. I'd read everything. I was a very, very successful businessman. Then when I lost everything, I'm on the bones of my ass, and I just kept spinning wheel. I couldn't get any traction. With all I knew, with everything I knew, and until I sought help, and then I learned, if you've got wheel spinning, stop the car, start the engine again, put the clutch in, let the clutch out slower, all of a sudden you go, don't you?
Yeah.
But when we're stressed, we're spinning the wheels all the time, and nothing anyone tells us makes any sense unless it spins them wheels a bit faster. Right, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy, Cross. But everyone does it. Everyone does it.
Yeah.
We're all guilty of
and
it.
And everything we know, even things we know 100% will not work when we're relaxed. When we're stressed, we think they'll work. I'll just try it. That's how daft it is.
Yeah.
And I've been there.
Yeah, you get desperate. I just totally agree. And I hear your voice in my head quite a few times when things have been happening over the last couple of years. And we need to do that. And no, hang on a minute, you're chasing the wrong thing. You try to do that. You try to force this, or you're going to make that decision. It's the wrong decision. So it's like, have a think about it, step back and actually analyze and go, no, where are we going? What's the plan? What's the idea? Right. So what is the next thing to do to get us to that? Not trying to shortcut something by doing this wacky thing. Actually, come back. Let's do this back on track again. And it does work. And people probably think, what's going on? It does. It's surprising how.
But it goes against all that we know, all that we've been taught.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so difficult. And that's why I don't care how many books you read. Until you've done it and experienced it. You see, I say that you've got to be relaxed. Now, think about this. This is quite deep now, but it might be too deep for you. But having your back against the wall is a form of relaxation because you've got nowhere else to fall. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're at your lowest, and then you say it can't get any worse. That sort of goes. That's a release. Then all of a sudden, you will start listening to people because you've got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the power of nothing. When you've got nothing to lose, you're a dangerous person.
Yes,
right?
Definitely.
You've got a well-equipped army fighting a load of heathens that ain't got nothing to lose, mate, and they've all got families in at home. The heathen army will win.
Yeah.
Right? Because they got nothing to lose. So it's the power of nothing. But that is a secret, is that once you've defaulted, you get to a point where you have to listen and you have to start making different decisions because you've got nowhere else to go. So my philosophy is, why bloody wait until then?
Yeah.
Why not make these decisions when you've got choices? Because eventually you have to make decisions. It's like if you've got a tank of water and you keep giving it away willy-nilly to everybody, eventually you're going to run out of water and everybody's in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? But you keep going on giving it out thinking that it's never going to end. But there is always a settling day to everything. But, You know, but as I say, the biggest problem to everybody is that their past programming will not allow them to accept the information to make this stuff work. And I'll tell you something else. Self-development works perfectly when things are going well.
Yeah.
You can plug it in. Ah, that's all right. Yeah, it all makes sense. Yeah, that's it. So it's all about the flow, isn't it? Once you're in the flow, you plug in, everything works. The secret is making it work when you're on the bones of your ass.
Yeah, because what you do is you do. It's a bit like you default back to that other thing, don't you? So you go back.
The stress.
You default back to either being, you know, if you're an angry or you were an angry person or whatever, or things that you used to in the past, as soon as you get any trouble or heartache, you go back to that default position, don't you? Which would be aggression or making, let's do that and let's do that. And you see it all the time, Croz, in people.
And when you're in the flow, which, see, that's the perfect state to be in, right? And it's, you know, as things sort of move along, I'm very, very fortunate now. And you see, the thing is, by talking to you like this every day on different interviews, dealing with clients, actually talking to people, studying, and you know, I still try and, you know, learn new ways and go deep into different bits and pieces. But it's 25 years. But now I annoy the crap out of people.
Yeah.
Because they say, don't you ever worry. The truth is, no. It's like my daughter yesterday sent a picture to her mum with it was the most terrible looking eye that I've ever seen. And she said to her mum, I'm having terrible trouble with my eye, with this photograph. Yeah. Now Val is bloody going absolutely bananas, and I'm going, oh dear. I said, that's funny, I was only talking to her an hour ago. She never said nothing because she'd had a bad eye. But I never got any excited or worried or whatever, you know, because there was nothing I could do. Otherwise, Val wrote and said, what's going on? But what she'd done at the same time she'd sent her that picture of a dodgy eye, she'd sent me a thing, said, I've just sent Mum a picture with a dodgy eye. But I never saw it because I was watching the golf.
Yeah.
Right? So I never saw that. So Val still thinks it's all serious. She's gone offline, so Val's sort of there worrying to death about this thing, right, that she got no control over. Do you understand what I'm saying? That she's worrying and panicking, and I ain't the same things. She can't do anything, and I can't do anything. She's all like hovering about, rushing about, and I'm just sitting there saying, hang on, love, hang on, Tiger's taking the putt, be quiet. You know, not that I don't care.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I did, well, if that is true, you know, and the things are going through, but in a calm way, you know, if she was really in trouble, would I have to get on a plane and shoot out to Bali or whatever, you know?
You would do, wouldn't you? I'm
going through, but I'm not worrying about it because it ain't, you know, there's nothing I can do at that point in time. She's not answering her phone. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly, Cross.
The stress comes from not knowing, not being able to do it, randomly thinking of what's going on. That's the stress.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden we find out she thought it was a joke. Her mum didn't think so. But she'd covered herself, but a series of events, I had turned my phone off because I'm watching the golf. She'd actually, because of the time difference, gone to bed, so she wasn't answering hers. So Val's adding 2 and 2 and coming up with 5.
Yeah.
And I ain't even doing the sums. I'm just saying, well, when I know what's wrong, I'll deal with it.
Correct.
And that's took an eternity to come to that. And I ain't sort of bragging or anything. I'm just saying that, look, but that's what you've got to do. People think they come to a one-day workshop and everything's going to be all right. You've got to work at it.
Day in, day out.
They have the tools.
Yeah.
They'll work at it. And the amount of people, Kirk, that I deal with, that after a week or 2 weeks ring up and say, guess what? What? And they tell me something that's happening. And I have to, have to put my shocked face on.
I think you did that with me. I think you did that with me when I told you some of the stuff I was doing. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. It
works every time. The thing is, you're the only person who can make you unsuccessful, and you're the only person who can make you successful, and you've got a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
And we keep choosing the bloody hardest route, because to be successful is a doddle.
Yeah, it is.
One of my lies to my clients: the easiest thing in business is getting hold of money, and yet we've made it the hardest thing.
Yeah,
right. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll start panicking about money. It's all, it's just, I don't know, we've made it carry too much importance. See, money gives the appearance of beauty to something that's even ugly. Right?
Yeah.
But everything becomes frightful with poverty.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've got it all out of context. You can look at something and someone tells you, that costs that much money, however ugly it is, you go, oh, that's nice, whatever.
Yeah.
But a lack of it creates fear.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think what tends to happen, Croz, is people when people don't have any money, or they've not got loads of money, and they're unhappy, think that it's because of the lack of money why they're unhappy. But actually, it's their own mindset or the situation they're in that's making them happy. Because when they do get the cash, they're still unhappy. And the only way people will genuinely believe that is if you give them a load of cash and go, "Yeah, happy now," and they go, "No," won't they?
No. And that's the crazy thing, is that we always put our happiness on hold. Until that happens, or this happens, or I get that, or this, or what.
Yeah.
But that's bloody ridiculous, because you can't. Happiness is, you can't store it, you can't create it, you can't chase it. It's either you've got it or you ain't got it. You can't say, I'm going to do it in the weeks to come or the years to come. When I get this, I'll be happy. That's a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
But if you're happy now, the odds are when you get to that future point, you'll be happy then.
Correct.
But, I wrote. Sorry.
And we're being programmed all the time for the latest. Everyone's in the mindset of you've got to upgrade your phone to the latest phone. You've got to get the latest car. You've got to upgrade your car every 3 years. People never used to change the car every 3 years like they do now. Yeah. I've got a Freelander on the drive. I forget how old it is now. 2014. So what's that? 5 years? Is it?
Yeah.
5 years old. Yeah. I've got it on a PCP. It's due to finish in the next few months. I can either give it back, pay it off, or walk. Or trade it in. So I had a phone call from the guy, and he went, "Do you want to come in with your options?" I said, "No, what my options are. I'm gonna pay the balance off. I'm just gonna keep running it." He went, "Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to do that?" I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "The car's got everything in it I ever want. It's the car that when I was a kid would have dreamt I'd never drive. So why do I want to change it?" "Well, it's going to depreciate on your drive." I went, "Well, isn't the one that I'm going to buy going to depreciate? But not only that, I'm still going to have to pay out more money, where I could use that money for something else." I said, "I'm going to just keep driving it until I get to the point where it's financially not viable for me to drive it because it keeps breaking down.
Or you don't want to.
Or I don't want to. But why do I need to change it because of a date?" And it's the same with a mobile phone. I used to change my phone every 2 years. I've got a SIM-only deal now, and I'm going to use the phone until it gets to the point where it's not doing what I want it to do, or it stops working. So it could be another 12, 18 months, 2 years. So that's, that money that I'm spending on that, I could spend it on something else. I'm trying to get away from this. Yet, last year, I changed my motorcycle. I upgraded my motorcycle because I wanted to do a different motorcycle to do something different than the current one I had. The other one was getting older. So it wasn't, I've got to change it. It was for a specific reason. I've been riding it, and we're both like, we're so glad we got these because they do different things for us, and they're perfect, absolutely perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to get away from that. And unfortunately, a lot of people look at the stuff that you do and go, "Oh no, we want this, want the latest, this, want the latest, that," and then they end up running around like lunatics to try and feed the beast, as it were, or whatever you want to call it. They need that money coming in, so they can shove it out the other way to give it to someone else, and it's absolutely ludicrous.
But you see, the thing is that a lot of the things that people they say, oh, you can only drive one car, you can only do this and do that. It's all about what you want to do. But once you know what you want, you will be given the tools to access what you want, even if it's down the track. As long as it's what you really want, you'll get there. But you see, the trouble comes when there's nothing wrong. I mean, if you really would get a real kick out of owning and running a Lamborghini, which I can't identify with in any way, shape or form, but if you could, and you wanted to spend that money on that, there ain't nothing wrong in that.
No,
there's nothing wrong in that.
Exactly.
It's when you actually buy things just for the thing of showing off.
Yeah.
And I've been there. Don't worry about that. I had my first Rolls Royce when I was 17, believe it or not. Well, it was a Bentley. And then I've had, shadows and bloody clouds and all different Rolls Royces through my life, right? But they was all for other people.
Yeah.
I used to, listen, this is a true story. I used to pull in the car park at the pub and drive around till I could get a bloody parking space that they could see me from the pub.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to
and
show.
then I'm in the pub. And now I'm in the pub and I go, oh, hang on, I've left something in the boot. Fucking all rubbish.
Yeah, just so people go, what have you got? It's nonsense, Croz, isn't it? It's nonsense.
And the thing is the relevance of it. And then, listen, I own up time. I've been there, I've done it, I know. It's like I say to people that, the things that go wrong in your life teach you more than the things that go right. And I say, I never used to learn a lot sitting at the top of a tower in a revolving restaurant, eating lovely steaks and drinking red wine. Yeah, I never learned a lot doing that. Right? No. When things are going good, right? I learned more from when I lost my business. Right? So in life we get it all mixed up. We're all sort of trying to get to a certain position, right? But the thing is, we miss out on the journey.
Exactly,
and things going wrong are part of the journey.
Yes, right? Yeah, exactly, and it's everything is an experience, and you've got to learn from that, and then as long as you don't keep making the same mistakes, then you learn along that. Life has a way of throwing you curveballs, doesn't it? And that's why I can
forgive you doing it once, but if you do it twice,
yeah. There's no hope for you. There's no hope for you. Listen, Croz, because we could talk all day, but I know time's ticking away, and we'll probably have to regroup again at some point. So, couple of things before we go. One is how to pick, and if you send me all your links and everything, I'll add them to the show notes, because this is going to go on the station. It's also going to go onto the podcast. So where can people find more about Crossely, the mindset technician, which you've changed your name now, the mindset?
Well, the website is cross.uk.com.
Right, that's simple.
And Facebook's a good place. If on there you can always have a look what I'm doing on there. And if you want to be if you want to friend me up and follow what's going on, then you need to if you want a friendship thing, you have to just let me know it's to do with, just put Kirk Pickstone or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll know that you're good people.
Yeah, man, because I've got no time for I've got no time for it. And I'll take everyone as I find them, and if I find that they're not in tune with my ethics or my thinking, then I tend to bypass them. So obviously one of the things we're talking about was the orphanage over in South Africa. Yes. So please send me the details for that. But just for the benefit of everyone, tell them what it's called again.
It's Mama Amelia's in Fellini, which is MFU. Well, it doesn't matter. MFULENI, Fellini with a silent M.
Yeah.
And that would be fantastic if we got something happening there. And I'll give you the appeal details and everything. And
please do.
And also a video of the girl or the woman that's taken over the place. It's quite quite heart-wrenching actually when you see it.
Yeah,
so.
I really, what I want to do, Croz, as well, and I think I told you, is I'd like, we'll talk later on, but some photographs and any videos you've got, and what I'll try and do is take some of the audio from this and make it in a little bit of a promo for you as well, and see if that'll help you along your way in your cause. But yeah, we're always getting asked all the time for money, and for, like you said, big corporations take a big slice out of it, big wages, but this is actually going grassroots to people. And like you say, £5 would, it's going to change someone's life. And you, by the sound of it, it's already had an impact on loads of lives. And if you can change, if that girl who's taken over can affect someone so that the legacy stays on, because in another 40 years, someone she's developed and she's on her deathbed, would not try to wish her life away, saying, please don't let it die, let it continue. How amazing to be a part of that would that be? And I think it's very humbling, and it makes you realise that what we're all stressing about, like we said before, the latest car, the latest phone, the latest T-shirt, whatever it is, go and live in a tin hut and see what life's all about. It's
but on that as well, and wonderful. But don't let I'm not decrying getting older money, as long as you know why you're doing it and you spend it. I mean, when I go on a plane to South Africa, I turn left.
Yeah, first class.
Because that's what I want to do. That's how I want to spend my money. Yeah. So I get the money to allow me to do that. And if I need things, there's nothing wrong with money. People quote the Bible wrong. It's not the money's the root of all evil. The love of money, but if it's nothing wrong with loving what you can buy with the money.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
That's
and you can, and if you can earn money and you want to do something good with the excess, even that's even better. If you've got an ability to gain money and you can do something good with that money, well, that is just the best position you could ever be in. And for the message, I think loud and clear for everyone is enjoy what you're doing now. And that's it. I think that's your teachings really. And enjoy what you do.
Yeah. Make where you are where you want to be. And I wrote 25 years ago, so one of the first things I ever wrote that I understood, wherever happiness goes, success and wealth are sure to follow.
And I think that's an absolutely beautiful place to leave it. Thanks very much for joining us today, Croz, and no doubt we'll speak again shortly.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
So there you go, there you have it, people. Uncle Croz. Yeah, if you're listening on the podcast, wherever you're picking up from, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, the show notes will be in this episode. If you're listening on a podcast, please subscribe. Oh yeah. Thanks very much, Croz. Loved it. And if you can spare a few shekels for the appeal, then please do so. I think what he's doing is amazing. And I know there's a lot of people after your cash, but stick a fiver his way. It'd be brilliant. Anyway, until next time, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Duggystone Radio. We're freaking global, baby. I'm out of here. See ya! The Duggystone Show.